Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to another time here at the book club. Thanks for coming. It's our opportunity to do life together, by reading through a book. We're learning from the book together, sharing life from the book, and hopefully making our lives better by reason of it. We're presently doing is read through our ninth book in the series. It's called The Confidence Game. The Confidence Game. It's written by Maria Konnikova. And the confidence game, it's simply a game where people try to gain your trust with the intent of abusing it, with the intent of betraying it. That's what is generally known as a confidence game. Another word for confidence, there's the con game. Maybe that's clearer that someone is trying to con you, someone is trying to swindle you, someone is trying to doodle you. Someone's trying to play fast one on you. Someone is trying to do a 419 on you. Someone's trying to scam you. Someone is trying to moogle you. All the same thing from deep with different vocabs, describing it. And that's what generally is known as a con game, and we're reading our main book and three of the books to support our learnings on this topic. The three other books are the art of the con, uh, the art of the con by Paul Wilson. And Paul Wilson is one that has learned the game and is pretty much actively teaching so that people don't easily fall prey to the game. There's the one by the Big Con, the Bitcoin by David W Maurer. He's a professor, linguistic professor, and pretty much just giving us an expansion on what the art is by talking to those who are active in the game, as it were, swindlers, and helping us see the game from their eye view. And the last one is the Mark on the Inside by Amy Redding, and it's more like a novel. Through the novel, she's expatiating the topic using the novel as a guide to as a background to explain the topic of the confidence game. I've seen it being played on someone and learning the in and out of the game. So through all four books, we were discussing the topic, the confidence game, with the intent of helping us understand the in and out of the game so that we don't become another victim of the game. We give ourselves a good chance of not being a victim of the game. Extended to our reading it for me is also learning the act of the confidence game, in terms now not to swindle people, but it's what we'll call the power play. Life is a power play. Whether you like it or not, it's a power play. Someone is either playing it on you, or you're playing it on someone, or you are standing your ground. So if you don't know the power game, you aren't gonna win in this life, because life is it's a game. Everyone, people are trying to do one against the other, but you also have to be in that you might not that against anybody, but you need to be able to defend yourself because someone is trying to have one on you, and you need to be aware of that. Latest one for me, I wasn't aware and kind of thrown my whole life upside down. Like I shared, was in the workplace in the year 2016, and I came into a toxic work environment. The different actors have gone their different ways, but I live with the effect of their stupidity, in playing that game. So it helps to know so that you don't become another victim, of such plays, wherever you find yourself. So those are different ways in which it can help us. The last time we were here, we started with chapter one of our main book, which is talking about the grifters. The grifters are those who play the game, the as it were, those who the swindlers, are called the grifters, and also the mark is the victim. Chapter one kind of expatiates on the two people, the two two people, who are the people who become victims of this game, and who are the people who promulgate the game, as it were, the swindlers, the con artists. So we're going to continue where we stopped 2 weeks ago and still talk more about who the mark is, which is pretty much every one of us. We all have potential subjects to being conned, but to being victimized, to being swindled, or 419 scammed by someone. So we're looking at that thing about us that makes us, susceptible to the game. So that's what we're looking at in chapter one. We'll talk about the victim, which is everyone of us. Then we'll talk about those that promulgate, this game. What is it about them that makes them do that? And do it, not just do it, but do it successfully. So we'll get to learn more about that as we go along. So for this week, we're going to continue talking about who the victims are, and like I said, it's every one of us, and starting from Eve, our mother. She gave in to that game. I was listening this morning to Napoleon Hill, as I often do, and he said something that kind of gave me a further insight in the topic. He says that when you're disciplined, then you don't leave it's no more playing with, it's not about your will, the strength of your will. It's about the decision you have made ahead of time. Discipline is more about decision than the willpower, right? It's for instance, I get exercise, like you talk all the time, 3 times a week, and when I go to exercise every morning, it's not a willpower. I don't have to struggle with will I not. It's a decision I already made. I already made a decision that I'm going to exercise these 3 days of the week. And when it's that time, I just get up and do it. Get up. I don't need motivation. I don't have to make a decision at that point in time. The decision was made way ahead of time. So it's not, I can get swindled or talked out or convinced out of it. I already convinced myself ahead of time as to the benefit of doing the exercise. So when the time comes, I just get up and go do it. And that kind of relates to me to the power, the potency of budgeting, right? When we talk about budgeting, we'll talk about that you need to budget before the money comes, because once the money comes, the power of budgeting has been deteriorated, because then it is having the influence of the spirit of money. Money has a spirit. Money has a spirit, and that spirit seeks to control you. The way you control the spirit of money is to set a budget ever before that money comes to you, so that you are no more under the influence of that spirit. You are under the influence of your budget, right? If you have a budget, your budget will control the spirit of money. If you don't have a budget, then the spirit of money will control you, and you're not going to get the best out of the money that you have. That's the power, potency of budgeting, is to control the spirit of money. You are no more at the point of negotiating. When the money comes to you, you are just following a budget you are put together when the spirit of money was not there. Right. Same thing when it comes to the con game. If the way to avoid the con game, the way to win, over the swindler, is to make a decision concerning your life ever before you meet the swindler. You see, Eve would not have been swindled by the devil if she had made a concrete decision concerning the tree. If she had settled in her mind, this tree I will not eat. Full stop. No, but she left space for the possibility of eating it. She went into a discussion with the enemy, right? When you give place to negotiation, you know, if you give the space to negotiation, then you have given space for the possibility of doing that thing you are not supposed to do. If you know something is not for you, you make a decision at all time, right? So it's not a matter of your willpower. It's a matter of a decision you have made at all time. Same thing as far as fornication is concerned. The time to escape fornication is not when you are there seeing a naked body. It is before you ever see a naked body. You have already decided this is the way I'm going to live my life. These are my boundary conditions. So when it comes to whatever makes you see a naked body, the decision is not about your willpower. Should I not? It's about the decision you have made before, right? Most often than not, you don't win when you start making negotiation at the point of the war. What will make you win in life or not is the decision you made before you came to the battleground. That's why we talk about people having a definite purpose, a definite goal for their life, not just going about, que sera, whatever will happen, what happened. No, that's the way of hell. That's the way to die. That's the way of death, not the way of life. You got to make the decision concerning your boundary conditions before you come to the battleground of life. What are my boundary grounds? What are the things I will take? What are the things I will not take? You don't wait till you're at the battleground before you make that decision. If you do, you will lose. You will lose. If you don't already make that decision before the battleground, you'll most probably lose. You are standing higher ground of being scammed, being conned if you don't have boundary conditions in your life. Because what they're going to bring before you is going to look enticing. It's just the way we're made. Our safeguard are the decisions we'll make ever before we come into the place of supposed decision. There's the stream of life, right? That's what safeguards us. But let me bring up my slide here and we'll go straight talking more about the Mac and try to finish the Mac, and then we'll go and talk about the grifter, the swindler. Alrighty. I want to jump in straight and continue talking about the Mac, which says when it comes to the con, everyone is a potential victim, right? When it comes to the con game. And that appears in every area of life. Every one of us a potential victim. If you think you're not a potential victim, then you are. Sure are. And you're probably one of the most sure, right? To think otherwise is to be the next victim when you think you're not. Just like the scriptures would say, let him that thinketh is standeth, take heed. Others, he that thinketh is standeth, let him take heed lest he falls. When you think you're not a victim, you're naked. You are naked, you're exposed, right? The way to avoid a scam is to know that you could be a potential victim and then cover your bases, right? Cover your bases. Hey, I see my friend Gabriel coming around. God bless you, my brother. God bless you. You're welcome. Uh, so it's Mark Twain would say it's easier to fool people than to convince them that they have not been fooled, right? When you don't have your guard in place, when you don't understand your exposure to being a victim, to being scammed, you don't know when you're scammed, and you're just trying to protect yourself when you've been scammed already. Instead of you drawing yourself out, you might just be digging yourself further into the hole that you've fallen into. And the law of holes says that when you find yourself in a hole, stop digging, stop digging. If you think you have been fooled, admit it and start finding your way out. Justifying yourself that you're not being fooled is only digging yourself further into being fooled, right? There's no shame in mixing it. The shame is in not doing something about what you the wrong you have done, or the hole you're falling into. You're human, so you can fall into a hole, you can be deceived, you can be fooled. That's not the sin. It's like fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, because I didn't do something about the first fooling, right? So it's important to admit when you have missed it, so you can do something about it. Because no matter where you fall into, there are deeper depths that you can fall into. That reminds me when I was in depression, I felt everything was bad. I felt, oh, I've had the worst end of life. Not true. Not true. I thought I had the worst end of life, but I found deeper bottoms, because I was crying over this end of life instead of doing something about it. Things got worse, 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 worse. No matter where you are, it can get worse. So wake up, wake up. You are not yet at the bottom of life. You can come. You need to start doing something about coming out from the bottom you're falling into. Otherwise, you find deeper bottoms like I did. right? So everyone likes to think of themselves as wise and having a good and justifiable reason for what they are doing. That's the thing about us. Whatever it is that we're doing, we seem to have a good reason for it. No matter what it is. So we need to be careful in our own confidence because sometimes we're confidently wrong, right? Yes, you find the armed robber can justify is the reason why he's stealing. That won't change the reason of him or her going to prison. A prostitute can justify the reason why she prostitutes. Those that dip their hands into the government purse can justify it. Doesn't make it right, right? Truth and justice is not it's not private, it's something that's judged by all, right? So because it looks nice doesn't mean that it's nice. So sometimes you need to question your assumptions, right? uh Even a thief seems to have a good reason for stealing, we said that, and the grifter seems to have a good reason for conning people, you know so we need to be aware of that, and those are things that will help us when we're aware of it, so that we don't get conned, right? Uh, 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 so obviously, this will go more for the grifter, right? In each of us, we have the lower self and the higher self. Billy Graham will call it the two wolves on the inside of us. We have a part of us that tends towards compromise. We have a part of us that tends towards being a honest person, and the one we feed is the one we become, right? None of us is casting concrete to be one or the other. We have both in us. If you feed your flesh, you will exhibit your flesh. If you feed your spirit, you will exhibit your spirit. If you feed your lower nature, you will exhibit your lower nature. If you feed your higher nature, that's what you will exhibit. So who we turn out to be every day is what we're feeding ourselves, what we're focusing on. Whatever you focus on, you're going to exhibit. Whatever you feed is what you're going to exhibit in life. So if you depending on what you focus your mind on, determines how much of a potential victim or not you could be, to a swindler. And one of those things that probably makes us more open to being swindled is the act of wishing. To wish for something really is not a high proposition, it's a lower proposition, because wishes are not horses, right? I know we say that rhyme, those years back, nursery rhyme, wish if wishes are horses, but wishes are not horses. Your wish, and those are some of the things that make us potential victims also, all the fairy tale stories. Oh, fairy godmother. They are no fairy godmother. They are all stories. They don't come, they're not sure, right? Believing those is the reason why people get swindled, because you think your fairy godmother has come in the like of this grifter, this swindler, and suddenly you're going to get a suddenly blessing, right? This is what makes people run after from one temple of demon to another. They run from one prayer house to the other, one miracle house to the other, because they're looking for the suddenly. They're looking for something for nothing. They have not invested into their life, and they're expecting that somehow things will just happen. They will just have goodwill come their life that they have not invested for. The way life works, it's sowing and reaping. If you want something, it's not to wish for it, it's to ask, what can I do to get this? Right? If I want something in my life, the question is not wishing for a fairy godmother. The question is not wishing for a Roy. The question is not wishing for sudden miracles. The question is, what can I do to get what I want? I saw a posting today, today from a friend of mine, and it's just a religious thing. People say that God, how do they say it now? God helps those that cannot help them. God helps those. How does it say now? God, God helps those that cannot help themselves, or God will help those that can do not help themselves. But that's true. That's false. That's from the devil. It's from the pit of hell. God will not help you if you don't help yourself. God does not help those who don't help themselves. God only helps those who help themselves because God has not made anything to be useless. Everything God has made, He has made useful. Until you do the thing you can do, God will not do the thing you cannot do. God does not bless idle people. If you don't help yourself, God will not help you. God needs you to do your part so that He can do His part. We see the man at the pool of Siloam. He was there for 38 years. You mean God didn't see him the first year? You mean God didn't see him the second? God didn't see him the 20th year? 38 years of wasted life because he refused to do the thing he could do. And that was the evident when Jesus asked him, do you want to go well? Lord, I'm not doing the thing I cannot do, and I'm expecting that God, you will bless me because I've not done the thing I can do. He says, I have no man. My problem is not myself. My problem is that I have no man. Stupid statement that I hear all around. I have no government. It's the government's fault. It's my state's fault. It's Nigeria's fault. It's because I am black. It's because I am blue. Stupid. God will not bless you if you don't help yourself. Meaning you must do the thing that you can do. Legally speaking, now, I'm not talking about you going to break the law. I'm not talking about you going to steal. I'm not talking about you going to do anything immoral. I'm talking about you doing the things you can do. Do your part. God comes and puts his hand upon your hand. Is typified by that king that Elisha put his hand upon. He put his hand upon the king's hand, right? That's God. God puts his hand upon our hand. God doesn't come to work without us. God doesn't expect us to do it alone. God wants to put his hand upon our hand to get it done. He wants to walk with us. You got to do the thing you can do so that God can do the things you cannot do. But if you sit down waiting, no, I'm not doing anything. I won't do anything. You are a victim. You are a potential victim for a swindler. They're going to bring proposition for you that will go along that. Oh, you don't need to do anything, no, just follow me. Faith or no faith. Those are messages from the pit of hell. Those are grifters, those are swindlers, I tell you that. God needs a part from you. God needs your faith. There's no faith or no faith in the scriptures. You must have a faith. A faith means you are doing something. God will not come to your house if you're not stepping out. Read your Bible. There's nobody God went to the house who was not calling for him or wanting him or doing their part. People just cook up stories because they want to swindle you. But you got to save yourself. Otherwise, you'll be another victim, right? So there's no place for wishing. If there's anything you want, ask the question, what is it that I need to do? Start doing it. When you start doing it, God will help you. I always love that statement by Abraham 7. He said, while I was on my way, the Lord helped me. While I was on my way, the Lord helped me. Not while I sat down doing nothing. It's while I was on my way doing the things that I could do. While I was away on my way, helping myself, doing my part of the miracle I'm expecting of God. God helped me. God made the miracle possible, right? There's one quote by someone, I don't remember his name now. It says that, when you begin to do the thing you can do, that will look either too impossible becomes possible. Right? It doesn't become possible by you're sitting down just looking at it and expecting, I have no man. No. You got to do the thing you can do. Do your part. Do your part. Do your part. Nature will help you. Providence will help you. God will help you. Only if you do your part. Right? So that's important. The whole African proverb says if there's no enemy within, if there's no dishonesty on your inside, right? The con, the grifter, the doodler, the swindler outside will have no power over you. People get swindled because there's a swindler on their own inside. There's a swindler on their own inside, right? That swindler could be active or passive. It could just be the sphere of death, right? You know, when I did my youth service, I served in a whole Imo state, and one time I found myself in Aba, right, in the commercial city out there in Abia State, and some people came and one person came accosted me. He said it was from some evangelistic, miraculous, whatever store. He was looking for some hotel there. He was coming to help someone in the hotel, whatever, whatever, some crusade, whatever. And I didn't know much about that, right? And I told him I didn't know the place he was talking about. But just as we were talking, another person came and gave him a description to the hospital. And as he told him that, he now said something about some religious stuff, do something so that some enemies, whatever. It didn't make sense to me. But you can imagine someone that's already scared, someone that's already thinking that his life has been hindered by enemies, by in-laws. People create fears in us. The Bible says that people are held captive by the fear of death, by the fear of death. You're always thinking that why you're not moving forward is because of someone in the village, is your in-law, is your family, is your this. It might not be, might just be your belief in it. Even if it's there, do your part. Learn to find out what is my part to do. Don't leave your life running from, leave your life running to. The way to avoid being swindled is to leave your life running to. You must have a goal for your life. What is it about? Where do I want to get to in my life? What have a vision for your life? Then make it every waking morning, make it your duty to run towards your goal, not running away from your village, not running away from your in-laws, not running away from your compound. If you're running from, you'll be running from all the days of your life, and you will never be poor. You will not achieve anything in life. If you want to achieve something in life, you have to make that decision as to the thing you want to achieve, and spend your time working to go towards that thing, go towards that thing. The thing about life is whatever you're focused on magnifies. Whatever you're focused on becomes bigger because your brain is practical. Yeah, right. Whatever it is that you're running to, your brain begins to devise ways of getting there. But if you're focused on the thing you're running from, that your brain becomes limited. It doesn't have uh, it doesn't have the command, to take you higher. It just has a command, to always see everything as evil, everything as things you should avoid. It doesn't give you the options as to where to go to, right? Life is not about running from. Life is about running to the things you want. Because whatsoever you focus on magnifies. If you focus on the things chasing you, they'll become bigger and you'll become smaller. If you focus on the things that you want, they'll become bigger. They'll become bigger. And obviously, if you go to them, then you become bigger also, right? If you focus on the things that you want, then it's another defense you have against swindlers, right? The things that are for you, the people that are for you, and the people that are not, right? It's all about focus on knowing what you want. If you don't know what you want, if you don't know where you're going, all roads will lead there. So you'll have a difficulty in saying no to people when they come around you because you don't have a focus, right? I am probably the easiest to get to, and it comes with a risk because I'm on social media, and almost anybody can try and get to me. It comes with a risk. Everybody wants something from you. But the reason why my yes is difficult and my no is easy is because I know where I'm going to, right? I know where I'm going to. All my money is focused towards where I'm going to. So I know the things that don't go for me and the things that are for me. I have so much money that I know what they have a purpose, they have an intent to get me to where I'm going. I have money, but they are not lose money. They are money that are already budgeted, intended to take me to where I'm going to. So because you see me celebrating, rejoicing, and you think that I'm now a victim for you to come and usurp, you found the wrong person. This person is not running from, is running to. You also need to order your life, to be running to. That's how miracles occur in your life. That's how you avoid the enemy, right? They say that the idle mind is a workshop for the enemy. If you don't have where you're going to, the devil is going to build a kingdom in your mind, right? So the whole proverb, the old African proverb says, if there's no enemy, dishonesty, idleness on the inside of you, then the enemy, the con, the grifter, the doodler, the swindler, the devil, on the outside can have no power on you, right? So you determine, the things that have power over you and the things that do not have power over you, right? You cannot be conquered from inside, right? You cannot be conquered but from inside. Until you're conquered inside, you can't be conquered outside. But the same also goes, if you cannot win on the inside, you can't win on the outside. The outside is a reflection of what is going on the inside, right? That your mind is the battleground. Whether you lose or win on your mind determines what you get on the outside, right? That's important. And what you're looking for is looking for you. If you're looking for victory, victory is looking for you. If you're looking for enemies, enemies are looking for you. If you're looking for nothing, nothing is looking for you. But guess what? The swindlers are looking for you, right? So what you're feeding is chasing you. If you're feeding your goals, you're feeding your visions, you're feeding your success, if you're feeding a future that you see that is big, that you're pressing towards, that's where your life is going to push towards. There are no accidents in life, right? You harvest what you sow. There are no accidents in life. You harvest what you sow. If you are poor, it's because you sowed the seeds of poverty. If you're rich, it's because you sowed the seed of richness. Whatever it is that you have and you're becoming is the harvest of the seed that you sowed and you're sowing. So it's all in your hands as to, where you have, who you become, whether you become a victim of a grifter, a swindler or not, right? So it's hey Sam, how are you doing? God bless you. Thanks for stopping by. It should be no reflection upon a man's intelligence to be swindled, right? Uh, to be swindled has nothing to do with whether you're intelligent or not. Uh, it just has to do with whether you have street wisdom or not. When someone comes to swindle you, they call on your gentleness. I have a lot of them come around on Facebook and they always say, "How are you? Good morning," all of that. People I don't know from Adam, and they're greeting me as if we know, and it calls on my cordiality, right? I grew up well. So I'm a cordial person, I love people and I would love to greet you back. I wouldn't be the one to jump on you, the first time I don't know you. I don't know what you're coming or where you're coming. But I've been on social media so long that every one of them is predictable. When they start greeting you, somehow you already know where it's going to end. So from my experience, I have to then deal. My normal self would like to say, "Hey, how are you? How are you? How is this? Be cordial." But from experience, about 99%, if not 100% of those people only do that to ask for something. They're trying to get something out of you. They have money to get data, but they don't have money to feed. They have different stories, all to swindle you, right? And they make it difficult to do good, right? But that's just the act of swindling. They're only doing the Asian act of swindling. They just maybe at a smaller level, but they're swindlers. They're grifters. They're trying to abuse trust. They're going to tell you a funny story that's going to engender your mercy. Oh, I went somewhere to see someone. The person is not in. I don't have transport. Oh, I have not eaten for the last 3 days, but they have money to get data, but they don't have money to eat. Oh, I'm married. I have a small child. I can't feed the child. You check their status, they are single, right? But different people try to con you, and if you're not wise, it's not intelligent. You could be intelligent, but this has to do with being streetwise. This has to do with having experience, right? You will easily fall for this. If you're one that is just uh you know you're trying to impress people, right? Because it's not really sympathy. It's just you thinking about what will people say, right? But life has nothing to do with what people say. If you're going to do anything, it has to be because you want to do it. It's part of your goal. It's part of your plan. It's part of your vision. I see on social media and different people preach some silly messages that have no bearing, no sense, try to tell you about what to do with your money. The crooks themselves, right? When you start doing that, you crook yourself, right? Uh, eh, there are a lot of swindlers out there. What you do with your money is based on the goal you have for yourself. Don't let anybody swindle you of your money. Don't give into something you don't want to give into. First Corinthians chapter 13, verse 3 says that if you give everything that you have and you don't have love, that's nothing. So put your money where your heart is. Put your money where your love is. Know why you're doing it. Don't do it because someone is conning you. Someone is swindling you of your money, whether it be in the church, outside the church, at work, or wherever you find yourself. Guide your money because it's your life, right? Hey, that's not you. You don't avoid being swindled because you're intelligent. You avoid being swindled because you're streetwise, right? You're streetwise. You need to gain street wisdom to avoid being swindled, right? So being swindled doesn't mean you're not intelligent. Intelligent people get swindled a whole lot, right? It's streetwise people that know, that can see, through what the swindler is trying to do, right? I lost a lot of money 2008. A lot of people did a lot of intelligent people did, but there were streetwise people that knew that not to put their money in such things as I did. All these pyramid schemes and all of that. With trying to get money quick, trying to get something for nothing. I've been swindled. Doesn't mean I'm not intelligent, just means I wasn't streetwise, right? And I've learned from all of that. Again, it's a decision you have to make before you have the discussion. Recent years, some young people come and say, oh, when there was MMM, the 3Ms came, oh, MMM, if you do this, you do this. I've been beaten once. I don't even go into that discussion. I already made the decision never to go into such things again. So it's not a matter of how enticing the package is. I don't even consider it, right? I've been beaten once, and and I ain't going through it again. I got wisdom, not just intelligence. I don't get carried away by the beautiful presentation, right? And that's the way to avoid being swindled. Because if you get into that presentation, it always looks nice, right? I'm a farmer and I have people bring presentation. If you do this, you will get this. None of them has worked, right? I've had my lead farmer come in and tell me, oh, if you sow this, you do this, you do this. None worked. The presentation always looks beautiful. You have to make your decisions on the things you would do, the things you wouldn't do. As you gain wisdom from life, you need to apply it. Sam, my brother Sam, you're asking differentiate between the two. What are the two you're talking about? Differentiate between them, woo and woo. Between intelligence, wisdom, street wisdom, or which one is it? Help me with your question, and I'll be able to answer it. I just need to understand your question better. Yeah. So it's not intelligent, but you know, it's your integrity, but yeah, it's your integrity, like I said, because you've already made that decision before the presentation. You've already set the boundaries of the things you would do or not do. We would not have fallen from a place of glory if Eve did not give audience to the serpent. If Eve did not give audience to the serpent, she would not have eaten from a tree. If Eve did not give audience to the serpent, she would not have eaten from a tree. If she had decided before that encounter, I will never discuss this topic with anybody, she would not have eaten from the tree. But she did. She took it for granted. Oh, let's discuss the boundary conditions. I had one of my mentees, tell me about someone who was telling her about having sex before marriage and saying that God doesn't care about sex. God looks at other things, not sex. God doesn't mind what you do with your sex life. Stupid. You shouldn't even go into that discussion at all because it would begin to pull on your sensitivities. You should make your decision ever before you get into engagement. These are my boundary conditions. It's not something to be discussed. Because once you start discussing it, depending on your strength, your maturity, there's a tendency for you to fall. It's a decision that needs to be made before that time, right? You should be clear in your life the things that you will allow, the things you won't allow, right? And there's a place to grow in that also, right? There's a place to grow in that also. I might not know everything today, but I set boundary conditions based on what I know today. But I'm growing. As I'm growing, I'm setting new boundary conditions and I'm living my life based on those new boundary conditions, right? Uh, but that's important because if you get yourself into those places where you start discussing it, you become more susceptible to being swindled, right? So that's important. So a businessman, active or retired, make fine marks for big con games. Anybody can become a victim of a con game, right? Once you take it for granted, because a con game is a play act. The people that do the con game write a play where you're an actor in that play and they already determine the things they need for you to have the response that desire, right? So they are pretty much pricking you, to get the right response. All right, I get my dear brother is asking how do you differentiate from genuine beggars and the ones that want to con you? It comes from it's all about you, right? And I'll start by giving an example of Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey gave an example. She's a billionaire. Everybody expects that she has free money, right? So everybody's always coming to her. Oh, we have this philanthropic thing, donate philanthropic this, and she was torn apart, right? And she, like me, grew up as a perfectionist. As a perfectionist, want to impress people, want to say yes to everybody. I've suffered that also. But then the first time she stood her ground, she was surprised. She didn't get the opposition that she was always scared she would get. And it was to what's the name? Ave. What's the name? Ave was his first name. Anyway, Ave, came to Oprah Winfrey to ask money for his own philanthropy, and she said no. She said no because she had her own philanthropy she was focusing on. No matter what how rich you are, you only have a limited amount of money, whether you're a billionaire, trillionaire, whatever. I guess that's what poor people miss. Poor people think that rich people have unlimited amount of money. That's why they come strong at them. But that's not true, right? No matter what you have, no matter who you are, the money that you have is a limited amount of money, and you are responsible for your limited amount of money. So it's up to you to use that money in a way that is responsible, right? And you have to set your criteria, as to how you want to use that money. So sometimes you don't know the difference between those that really need it and the people that don't really need it. So that's the first answer. Sometimes you don't, you just don't, but you need to set up criteria as to the monies you give out. You must never give money out of pity. Really, giving money out of pity is not the it's a waste of money. It's money you throw away. And that tallies with First Corinthians chapter 13, verse 3. It says if there's no love in my giving, then I'm not achieving anything. I'm just throwing that money away. So if I'm gonna give money, it's gotta be because of love. That means I know what this person is saying. I believe in what this person is saying, and I'm doing it to bless that person, right? So maybe it could be the person that is not presenting it rightly, is giving me false information, right? But my doing it must never be because I am thinking that if I don't give this person, no other person will give that person. That's not true. You're not God. It must not be because I'm giving because of what this person would say or not say about me. That's throwing away your money. It must be because I believe what this person is saying and I'm doing what I can do, not what I cannot do. Right? So everything really is dependent on you when you're giving. It's giving what I can give, not what I cannot give, right? You will never find in scripture anybody giving what they cannot give. It is in our 419 churches that you hear that. Our 419 churches will tell you to give what you don't have. Those are 419. They're swindling you. It's not of God. It's of the devil. You will read your scripture from Genesis to Revelation. You never find people giving what they cannot give. They always gave out of what they had. And they gave responsibly. Nobody gave and became poor by giving. The only ones that became poor by giving had to be helped by others. That was the church in Jerusalem. That's the wrong example because other people had to help them. They became poor. They thought Jesus would come immediately, so they were giving away everything that they had. Well, Jesus hadn't come yet, right? So you need to be short-term, long-term in your financial plan. Don't give away everything that you have that you become a beggar yourself. You have to give responsibly, right? So sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you get to know by occasion of time. The people that I see come to me on Facebook, I know because I've seen them severally over the years. I can easily discern, right? I can discern because I've had several occasions with them. So I know by reason of experience, right? But when you don't know also, the key thing is that you must give out of your plan, not not you must not give in such a way that your own life becomes an emergency. When you give, your own life still needs to be stable. If you are giving and your own life then becomes emergency all the time, you are foolish. And God hates such a person because God wants all of us to be responsible for the resource He has put into our hands. And He doesn't bring people our way for us to give in such a way that our own life becomes a mess. We give sustainably, sustainably, sustainably. Not all of these miracle, fairy, mother, magical things that we hear about. It's sustainable living, sustainable giving. It must be out of your plan. I don't know if I helped with all of that, but we can continue more on Facebook, and talk more about that if I didn't clearly say that. Uh, but I hope that helped. But every one of us is susceptible to being conned, and so we have to be careful because a con script can be written for anybody. Because again, a con game is a script in which the con artist writes with you as an actor in it. And he has already written the part for you. He has already written what he needs to do to get you to respond in the way that he wants you to respond, so that at the end of the day, he can get what he wants from you. And they always come start by being cordial. They knock on the door of your cordiality. See, they can't con someone that is not cordial. If you come to me each time and I don't want to talk to you, I start abusing you. You can't con me, but because they as it were, they are expecting you to be who they want you to be. So they put that, it's all part of the play. It's a script. No matter how they start, they know where they are going. So they first of all get your audience. Get your audience, say the thing they want you to say, then they point you to where they want you to go. See the serpent going to Eve. How did he came? He didn't come adversarially. He just came gently, corny, but he knew where he was going to. Eve's mistake was ever going along with the devil. I don't go along with all these people that come and say, "Good morning. How is your day?" Someone I've never met before. What's your business with my day? Right? Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. What's your business with my day? I don't know you from Adam, but they want that because they're trying to get something to key into you so they can ask for what they're asking. So you have to gain wisdom by reason of life. As you see these people, you have to then get your own response without losing yourself. You don't want to be a bad person because bad people are coming to you. You just have to find a way to not get into that discussion with them, right? Going back again, we spoke about having a budget at the beginning. The power of a budget is setting a plan for your money before the spirit of money comes. So you don't do a budget when you have the money. You do the budget ever before the money comes. Because money has spirit, or money is a spirit. And the spirit of money seeks for control, right? Once the money is there, your budget power is less. So a budget is done ever before you have the money in your hand. If you're expecting any set of money, do a budget first before that money comes to your hand. Because once that money comes, it's a spirit. It's already calling people to come and collect the money. Several things are in play, right? But if you have a budget, once that money comes, you do it according to your budget. The power of money is killed by a budget that is done before the money comes to you. And that budget also controls the way any of these con people come. These con people come, you stay with your budget. You don't go and borrow money because some con person is telling you about he's going to die, right? Um, Yeah, yes. So you must learn how to say no, right? No, no is the no is a word that will save your life. Your ability to say no, it's important, right? Your no must be easy. The easiest thing that should come out of your mouth is no. No to almost anything. Your yes must be expensive. When you say yes to something, it must be that you have thought it through, right? And you would die for it. Anything you have not thought through that you cannot die for, just say no. When you say yes, it must be that you have thought it through and you can die for it. That was the parable Jesus gave us of the two sons. He says the father went to the first son, go and do this. Son said, the son said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Jumps to do it, but didn't do it. He went to the second son. The second son said, I'm not going to do it. Right? But later changed his mind and did it. You see, that son said no, but after he had considered it, did it. The other one jumped and said yes, but didn't do it. Which is the better? Your no must be cheap. Anything that comes to you that is not in accordance with your budget, is not in accordance with the plan you have for your life, the answer is no. If later on, maybe sleeping in the night, God says, oh, do it, it's a different thing. Then you know why you're doing it. But don't jump into saying yes to everything. Don't say yes to something that is not in line with your plan. Don't say yes to anything that you will not be able to sleep because of. We say yes for several reasons because we are trying to impress people. We are scared of what pastor would say. We are scared whether there'll be a curse upon us because that's the main topic on the pulpit. If you don't do this, you have a curse. Oh, angel came. You won't find all of that in the Bible. Those are uh, religious con words. Those are grifters on the pulpits. Those are 419 people on the pulpits, right? You won't find that in the Bible, right? You won't find a God that wants to force you to do something. The Bible says in the day of, in the, how does it put it up? It says in the day of his power, his people will be willing. In the day of his power, his people will be willing. They will not be conned. They will not be forced. They will not be scared. They will be willing. God says, come and let's reason together. Not that I will force you. I will scare you. Right? So, yeah. Hey, my goddaughter is here. Thank you. Daria, I hope I answered your question on that. Yeah, so you need to have a plan. That's key word. Before you listen to any other person, have a plan. And what goes your plan? Yes. What doesn't go with your plan? No. Right? Don't because if you don't have a plan, then anybody can come and turn your life upside down. The way you safeguard your life is by having a plan. If you have a plan, then that becomes a measuring stick against what you say yes to and what you say no to. And that will give you that will add yes to your life. And will add life to your yes. Because a lot of people want to swindle you and con you, right? Thank you. I love the engagement today. Thanks, thanks, thanks. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Larry. Thanks, Gabriel. And thanks everyone on my YouTube page. And thanks everyone on my blogging page. I try to do this for 1 hour and I'm about the hour max. I'm going to shut this down soon. But thanks. I love the engagement from Facebook. Thanks. I'm blessed. I'm honored. I hope it blessed you. It will be on Facebook, so feel free. You can have more comments. We can have more engagement. It's going to be on my YouTube page, my YouTube channel. It's going to be on uh my blogging site, uncleakin.com. And yeah, feel free. Feel free. I love the engagement, and that's what I do best. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you. Have a great week ahead. And we'll be back next week, God willing. Same time, 2 p.m. West African time. I will continue on this. We're just on slide 4 out of 18 slides talking about the Mac. So we'll continue next week, God willing. Yeah. God bless you. Shalom. Bye bye.